So yes, autumn is here, although it doesn't really look like it, does it? But I promise you it is. And we kind of, yeah, we're going for them kind of more snuggly fragrances, you know, and that's obviously ultimately what this one is. Dark snuggly night fragrances. So fragrances that are not, you know, them hugely potent ones that knock you out, but a kind of chilled, relaxing evening, snuggled on the sofa with some Coco, a potential partner, or just your cat. Cats are good. You know, cat ladies certainly are nothing to be ashamed of, or cat men. You know, so we don't need to look down on people like that. So yeah, that's basically all it is, just snuggly scents. We'll get on. So I suppose it's best to start with the obvious one, and that's from Kilian, and that's Rolling in Love. Now this one is that kind of snuggling up with a potential partner, really, isn't it? It's, you know, you've had a long day. You've probably just had a bath. She still smells a bit of a perfume that's still lingering around on her skin. You know, you just snuggled up on the settee, watching, I don't know, something cool on the telly. Buffy the Vampires, because it's that time of year. And yeah, you're just snuggling up, and she's lying on you, and you're kissing her neck a bit and playing with her hair. And you get that, what this fragrance is, obviously, it's all them musks, isn't it? And a little kind of gentle tuberose and some other white flowers in there, but predominantly it's that soft, beautiful skin musk, isn't it? And it's quite magnificent. Let the dog get past. And it's just that lingering taste of their musky skin on your lips, and it just makes you feel like calm and relaxed. And you can see this one, you know, you just want to warm up a bit more, so ironically, you know, the clothes come off and you get a bit more passionate, and then musks grow and grow and grow. And that ultimately, I'm not going to waffle on loads about these, that is what Rolling in Love is, isn't it? It's kind of the tenderness of human skin, and that kind of, that delicate muskiness that just makes you go a little bit crazy inside. Beautiful fragrance. So from Kilian is Rolling in Love. Next, I think a good one would be, and this kind of represents UK kind of autumn, would be Le Petit Robe Noir Black Perfecto from Guerlain. And this one is like, to me, this one's taking me to like you're out for a bonfire night. It's basically leather, vanilla, cherry, some muskiness in there. It's a hint of licorice, something dark in there. It's this beautiful, soft, but grrr one, really. So yeah, you know, you've been watching the fireworks, you know, wrapped in your big leather jackets, all that smokiness in the air, the lights, and it always rains here when it's bonfire nights. It's a given. And it could even be very windy, so you're coming in from that and you're really cold. So, you know, you sit down and again you snuggle up. She's got that smell of leather on her, and you're drinking the cherry brandy to warm up nicely, and it just has that beautiful kind of aura of being kind of, I suppose, by the fire with the leathery smell in the air. It's not smoky, I'm not saying that. And it's got that kind of darkness from the night, you know. Bonfire night, again, because it's getting dark really early now, is always pitch black, and it's just one of them really nice nights, and it's a perfect one to kind of snuggle up and keep warm. And it has that little bit of, you know, that little wink in there, that you know, you're going to have that bit of animalic attraction to each other for the night. So that is Le Petit Robe Noir from Black Perfecto from Guerlain. Next is It's mentioned in a lot of my videos, but it's definitely a good, snuggly, easy one. And that's Joop's Le Bon. There's so much going on in this fragrance, but basically it's like this steamy bath. Ultimately, there's vanilla, there's resins, there's aldehydes, some nice lily of the valley and other florals going through it. It's just got this kind of clean but floral, steamy feel about it, and obviously that's coming from the aldehydes, and it's just very cozy and enveloping, and it is just literally, you know, lying in the bath. You know, it's got a bit of tonka in it. Maybe you've got like a nutty hot chocolate to warm you up. You can smell the soap in the bath, and the suds are soft like silk over your skin. And it warms you up and makes you very, very peaceful after a long day. And yeah, you'd want to fall asleep listening to some, you know, soft music in the bath. A little bit of Luther Vandross, something like that. You know, it's that kind of mellow feeling, and it's really affordable as well, this one, and it has stood the test of time. And I don't think I've ever smelled anything quite like it, when you bear in mind it's vanilla-y, it's tonka-y, it's got all them kind of recognisable notes, but it's done in a nice, unique, beautiful way. So that is Joop's Le Bon. Next is from Dusita, and that's Le Pavillon d'Or. Now this one, I've described it quite recently, and it is one of my favourites. It's basically a walk along a river. It's got all these green smells. It's got some fresh aromatic smells in there, which add to that greenness. And it's got this kind of, I don't know where it comes from, but it does have this kind of watery, still, beautiful river about it. And in the autumn, the riverside is obviously quite chilly, and the leaves are falling. There's all these colours mixed with the green, and the flowers are now starting to die, but you still get them little bits of kind of soft greener florals there. Obviously they're a bit bitterer because they've lasted this long, and it's walking along the river, you know, in your long coats, holding hands, you know, stopping for a nice cuddle to keep warm, just chatting about the world and just taking your time and taking it all in, and really, really appreciating nature and things like that. And that smell of fresh nature, whatever time of year it is, just really does warm you up inside and uplift you, doesn't it? And this fragrance absolutely does that. It's absolutely beautiful. So from Dusita is Le Pavillon d'Or. Next is from Amouage, and that's Overture, man. I do need to get a bottle of this one. Now, this predominantly is brandy, and it's got a nice fruity feel in it. It's got a rich feel. I think there's a hint of things like cumin in there, which give it this kind of human quality. Not too strong. There's woods, there's incense, there's lots of musks. It's Amouage, come on. And that smooth resinous base, is it myrrh, something like that? Kind of more smooth, rich feel. But it is the brandy and the fruit with the cumin that just, oh, it's so magical. And this again is similar story to the others. You know, you've been out with your partner, you've had a few nice tasty drinks, half a bottle of brandy, and you're kissing and what have you, and you get that beautiful fruity taste from their kisses and from their breath, and it's so smooth and luxurious smelling, and that the alcohol's warming you, the touch of them's warming you up, and you know that kind of where you're just kind of tipsy, and you're lying on your own or lying with someone, and you get that kind of euphoric, chilled, kind of feel. And obviously I'm a big brandy drinker, so this means a lot to me. This is sort of a feeling and a smell and a taste I really enjoy. And that little bit of cumin's just like the smell of a person next to you. You know, when you've been drinking, of course you're going to sweat a little bit. It's a beautiful one. So that's Overture Man from Amouage. Next is from One Way Bridge, and it's called The Forgotten Highway. Now this one, I don't think I've spoke about it yet before. It's this kind of fougere one, but the lavender, it has that more in the opening, that kind of, you know, aromatic green nod backwards, and there's cade or birch or something else in it that gives it this kind of smoky depth, this richness. There's something a bit different about it, but it's very green. It has a lot of New Zealand notes in it, and what it's about is it's a kind of ode. Elise, the creator, works in a hospice caring for people with dementia and things like that. So it's kind of an ode to them, to that feeling, to the life they've lived, to what have you. So obviously this takes you to kind of being young and, you know, having a big hug and sitting on your knee with your granddad and your grandma, and then telling you them stories of some of the stories from my grandma are a bit X-rated, but you know what I mean. They're telling you that, you know, how simple life used to be, what happened in their life, the great changes and things like that. And it is that kind of hug from them, that kind of thing that stays with you forever. And they would have smelt of these kind of classic perfumes, men and women, whatever. The fragrance was less gendered back then, with that lovely kind of refreshing, calming lavender. And it's just a hug from them. It's a really reassuring kind of beautiful one. So that's Forgotten Highway from One Way Bridge. Next is the vanilla I always mention, and that's because it is this kind of huggy, beautiful one. And I've probably described it like this so many times. That's Kayali's Vanilla 28. It is what it is. It is this rich, warm, sumptuous hug in a bottle. It does remind you of cakes. It's kind of a rich, it's really hard to describe. It has a weight to it, it has a feel, it has a texture, it has a presence, but it's not heavy. It's more like a thick, silky sheet. And it is ultimately just vanilla, woods, a bit of musk. It's the tiniest kind of, like you can get with vanilla sometimes, a little bit of a kind of warm booziness like a vanilla schnapps. But it does just remind you of cakes just out the oven. And again, obviously this is a Snuggley one that takes us back, similar to the last one, with our youth, with our parents. And there's, you know, after tea or after this baking and stuff, giving your dad a bit of a hug when you're not feeling great. And it is very Snuggley. And I think vanilla, full stop, I could have picked any vanilla fragrance for this. It is very Snuggley and cocooning. I don't know if it's because we associate it with cooking in this age, or in cakes, or because it just has that effect on us. But vanilla, yeah, it just is Snuggley and cosy and what have you, isn't it? So that's Vanilla 28 from Kayali. Next, I can't believe I'm putting this one in here. And we're talking many hours into the dry down after it's been sprayed, but that's Angel from Mugler. This maybe is more pertinent to me personally, rather than being one for everyone, but obviously we know what it is. There's a kind of fruity feel about it. It's that kind of chocolatey patchouli. It's big, it's dense, it's musky, it's a really strong, powerful one. But in the dry down, it's more like I'd even go far as a smooth kind of vanilla-y, calming patchouli, isn't it? You're talking after many hours here. And what that takes me back to anyway, personally, is obviously back in the days when we were youthful, them kind of first relationships, them first loves and stuff, and when you think life can't be any better, and this is what it's all about, until you find out they're a psychopath or whatever. But anyway, it does take you back to them just being young, and the intensities and the feeling of them first kind of rush to the head, the first of them sorts of adult feelings we get, and that. And this one is definitely of that era, definitely of that time, and whether they're good or bad memories now, there's something a little reassuring and comforting about it, isn't there? So that's Mugler's Angel, the original, of course, the original. Next is a really weird one, but again I find it kind of snuggly and cosy and reassuring, and that is from Dior's Posh line, and that's Bois d'Argent, which, as I always describe it as, is my cloud above a forest kind of fragrance. It's got these piney greenness running through the silver iris and the woods. It's quite a simple one, but it's just beautiful. And in that iris, which is more that kind of clean silver iris, is a little bit of powderiness, and it takes me to being like on a fluffy cloud, say above this forest during these cold times, and it's wrapped around you, it's keeping you warm. It's like a big thick duvet, and it is just very snuggly and very calm, but it's got this kind of outdoor freshness about it with that as well. I suppose it could be, you know, walking through the forests covered in snow, which also happens in autumn, doesn't it? But it is one of my favourite iris scents, and it kind of shows me my preferred sort of iris is that kind of silvery, silky, cool iris, rather than the sometimes over sticky iris, or that kind of chalky damp potato iris kind of feeling. So yeah, anyway, that's Bois d'Argent from Dior. Next is Coco from Chanel, and I think this is probably the same to all of us, whether it be opium or cocoa, something along them lines. That's this kind of spicy, darker floral, lots of musks, a little bit that kind of naughty, this 80s, you know, powerhouse one. And it's always the ones that your favourite auntie will, and if you know your favourite auntie would buy you lots of sweets, you know, being the blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid, I was favourite of many of my aunties, and they'd spoil you and they'd give you big hugs, and yeah, they give you all the things your parents wouldn't let you have, loads of sugar and chocolate and stuff like that. And it's that hug from your obviously very cool auntie. I mean, we're too young to realise just how cool and edgy they were wearing these fragrances. And there's something about Coco. Now, Coco in modern times, that a lot of it's been taken away, but it does take you to the 80s, but it takes you, for me personally, it makes me feel like I'm there in this era, like we're living through it as the adults, not so much like we were little kids and stuff. And that smell is kind of really attractive, isn't it? Not that you're attracted to your auntie, you're a kid, but you know what I mean. These would have been, you know, fine dressed men and women back in them days, wearing these sorts of spicy dark florals, these posh Chanels and stuff. So yeah, that's Coco from Chanel. And finally is Musc Ravageur from Frederic Malle. Now, we all know, before you tell me, this has changed a lot. Some of that kind of, that naughty wink has been took out of it, and it is actually, funnily enough, quite similar in style and what it does to Coco, isn't it? But it's this, basically it's this cosy, musky vanilla. Obviously the woods and stuff, it's very muskiness. There is that slight hint of something in there, isn't there? And it's just a magnificently cosy, rich, almost gourmand with that 80s kind of naughty wink, isn't it really? It's a magnificent fragrance. Like again, I think mine isn't a modern reformulation, but it's a more modern reformulation, so it doesn't have that same that the original had, but it is magical. And there's something so appealing and alluring and attractive about it that it brings people in. It is something where people want to nuzzle you, or you nuzzle them, kind of thing, you know, lying on a hairy chest, or, and you know, playing with their hair. They're slightly, like again, like you've been out, they're slightly kind of not dirty, but hair that you've been out, that you've been doing things and whatnot. And the skin is also the same. It's a little bit sweaty. It's not fresh out the bath skin, and it's all of that together with this cocooning vanilla and probably benzoin in there. It's just fantastic. So that's Musc Ravageur from Frederic Malle. So yeah, it was a very brief one. Just have some cosy scents for autumn or whatever. Yeah, I know. There could be cosy scents for any time of the year, but it's autumn, so there'll be autumn in the title. We don't use fall over here, even though I bow to the fact it was the original English word, but you know, our language evolved and changed, so it's autumn. Anyway, that's by the by, but it's you know, I'm not going to pretend I'm American and call it fall for clicks and likes. But the autumn is this kind of more cosy season, isn't it? Especially as it starts off and it's not cold. I mean, there's quite a chill in the air here, and nothing's started to change yet, though it is starting to get darker much earlier. And we just want to reach for these hugs in a bottle, don't we? These ones that reassure us and comfort us. Anyway, this is loads of waffle for no reason. I'm saying lots of words. What about you? What's your kind of cosy autumn fragrance? Do you go for a more boozy one? It is vanilla. Does it have that kind of cosy, nostalgic effect on you? Alright folks, thanks. Bye.